practice and touchlines. So we are going to have a discussion about the Champions League. The draw happened and people are buzzing about the draw. There've been a lot of conversations about this draw. Looks so obvious. People were tipping some of the teams to meet each other, and surely they are meeting each other. The likes of Real Madrid against Manchester City has been one fixture that we've seen it for 3 seasons in a row now. And even in this season's Champions League, we saw that particular fixture happening in the group phase. We are going to break it down, and I'm tipping these 2 teams to get into the final of the Champions League. So I'm going to break it down per game, looking at the teams that will qualify for the quarterfinals, and also get down to the final, which team is going to get to the final, and also there is a particular statistics or history that backs the team from one side of the groupings, which I'm also going to break everything down for you. So you need to watch this show to the end. This show is brought to you by mybet.africa, the #1 betting platform in the country. Go onto their platform right now, scan the QR code on the screen, get a chance to register on their platform. Registering on their platform is very simple. 3 simple steps. You get a chance to be part of the MyBet.Africa family. The first one is your phone number, the one you use for mobile money transactions. You enter it, then you move to the next one, the username. You can put your nickname, any other name you want on there, but I would advise any name you are putting on there, add at least a number or 2 to it so that it makes it unique from any other user on the platform. The third option is your password. So you see password and confirm password. You enter the same password for both sides, and you click on the registration. Instantly, they send you a verification link to verify your account and be part of the MyBet.Africa family. We'll go into the Champions League odds that MyBet.Africa has already been presented for us. That is how amazing MyBet.Africa is. So today, after watching this video, getting the statistics I'm going to give, you can go onto their platform and bet on the Champions League games that are going to happen on the 10th of March to the 11th of March. So you get a chance to have higher odds and also place your bet down already. So let's go deeper into the Champions League games happening, and we'll look at the fixtures. Then we'll break it down to which teams you are taking to go ahead of the happening. The first game, Paris Saint-Germain were drawn against Chelsea. Galatasaray were drawn against Liverpool. Real Madrid were drawn against Manchester City. Atlanta were drawn against Bayern Munich. Then we have on the other side, Newcastle were drawn against Barcelona. Atletico Madrid were drawn against, that is Tottenham Hotspur. Bordeaux Glimt were drawn against Sporting Lisbon. Bayern Leverkusen were drawn against Arsenal. So we are going to take it per game. Then we'll look at this. So we are going to start from how the groupings are being made. So with the groupings, it shows that the teams that I mentioned from Chelsea, Paris Saint-Germain, Real Madrid, Manchester City, Bayern Munich are on the silver side. That are the home teams when it comes to getting into the Champions League final. I want you to understand this because I'm going to refer this during my video. And Arsenal, Barcelona, Newcastle, Tottenham, Bordeaux Glimt, Sporting Lisbon are on the blue side. Those are going to be the away team in the final. So in the Champions League final, no team gets to play as a home team. But because of where your seedings and where you come from, you get to play. If you are the team listed as Team A or Team 1, you get to wear your home kit for that particular final. And the away team gets to wear their away kits depending on if the colors are matching. So for example, last season's Champions League, we saw Paris Saint-Germain and Inter Milan all having blue in their JC. So Paris Saint-Germain went with their home kits, Inter Milan went with their away kits. And this thing has played a lot of concerns when it comes to the Champions League. Because for the last 6 finals, heading to the last 10 finals, one team playing from one side gets to win the Champions League. So I'm going to break everything down for you. So firstly, let's look at the teams. Chelsea, Paris Saint-Germain. I think this is a crucial game for Paris Saint-Germain. It's a revenge for them. Luis Enrique has been calling out Chelsea that he wants to play Chelsea as of now. And he feels that they have an unfinished business to clear. So looking at this game, going deeper, Parc de France, the first fixture, Stamford Bridge, the second fixture is going to be a very crucial thing. The last time Chelsea played Paris Saint-Germain, the first in the Champions League round of 16 like this, the first game happened at Stamford Bridge and the second game happened at Parc de France, where Paris Saint-Germain used that away goal rule to be able to eliminate Chelsea after scoring some goals in the Stamford Bridge. This fixture is going to come with a lot of things. Paris Saint-Germain, on the other hand, have not been the Paris Saint-Germain we knew from last season. Chelsea, on the other hand, are not with the Maresca they used to have when they beat Paris Saint-Germain in the FIFA Club World Cup final. So there are a whole lot of dimensions going into this game. But Liam Rossini has a very good record against Paris Saint-Germain. In their last 4 meetings, he has won 2, drew 1, and lost 1 against Paris Saint-Germain. That is Strasbourg. So going into this game, from the first league prediction, I'm looking at Paris Saint-Germain getting a slight win over Chelsea, a 1-0, a 2-1 win over Chelsea in that particular fixture. But if Chelsea are to get a draw in that game, it will help boost their confidence coming into Stamford Bridge and also battling out with them. The next game is Liverpool against Galatasaray. We saw this game happening in the group phase where Galatasaray, in their home pitch where they call their hell, hosted Liverpool, and we had comments. Mohamed Salah, some other players talking about how loud the place were. Galatasaray got to win by 1-0 in that particular game. But this is a two-legged game. And anytime Liverpool gets to play a second leg at home, it mostly gets to favor them. But the last time they played in the Champions League and they played a second leg at home against Paris Saint-Germain in a phase like this, they were eliminated. So it's something that would be behind Ancelotti and his boys' mind going into a game like this. Likely in Galatasaray or in Turkey, Liverpool are going to find it very difficult to get results against Galatasaray. So it's either going to be a draw in that particular game, or Liverpool are going to get a 1-0 result, which will bring every fixture down to Anfield on the last day, which is going to be a crucial game for Liverpool. But I'm tipping Liverpool to qualify ahead of Galatasaray in this particular game. The next group game you are going to look at is Manchester City and Real Madrid. Real Madrid will play the first game at home. Manchester City will welcome them in the return leg. And also, Real Madrid has a history on the Champions League. Anytime they get to play a second league game at home, they have that ability to defeat every team. We saw it against Manchester City some years back. We saw it against Chelsea some years back. And in this fixture, anytime there's a knockout phase, the team that plays home last, or the second leg at home, gets the chance to qualify. We saw how Manchester City dismantled Real Madrid in that scoreline to get ahead of Real Madrid in the Champions League round, going on to win the Champions League. So looking at this fixture, the first game at Santiago Bernabeu will play a bigger role. If Real Madrid are to get a convincing scoreline like a 3-0, a 3-1, a 4-1, or a 2-0, it will help them going into, that is, the Etihad for the second leg. But I'm tipping Manchester City to qualify ahead of Real Madrid in this particular. Looking at form, looking at the coaches behind the team, and looking at the players on the field, Manchester City are well prepared in this particular game against a team in Real Madrid. The last fixture on the silver side will be Bayern Munich against Atlanta. Most people are writing off this fixture, but Atlanta in their last game coming into this Bayern Munich fixture showed character, showed strength against another German side in Borussia Dortmund. And they would like to repeat the same thing against another top giant from Germany. But I think the strength of Bayern Munich are based in the attack, where Atlanta are finding it difficult to keep clean sheets. So with this fixture, I'm looking at the first league game, which will be happening in Italy for Atlanta. If they are not to get any convincing results, they are totally out. So Atlanta needs to get at least a draw going to, that is, Germany to face Bayern Munich. But I'm tipping Bayern Munich all hands down to qualify ahead of Atlanta in this particular fixture. So with the silver side, I am looking at Chelsea qualifying ahead of Paris Saint-Germain based on form, based on how things have been with Liam Rossini coming in charge. I'm looking at Manchester City qualifying ahead of Real Madrid. I'm looking at Liverpool qualifying ahead of Galatasaray. And I'm also looking at Bayern Munich qualifying ahead of Atlanta. So let's move to the blue side and we'll have a discussion about that. The blue side, the first fixture happening there is Newcastle against Barcelona. This fixture also happened in the first group phase in this season's Champions League, where Barcelona defeated Newcastle by 3-0. And looking at that game, it was Newcastle's first return in the Champions League after they did in last 2 seasons. Playing a team in Barcelona was a difficult fixture for them. But looking at this particular fixture, the first fixture happening in St. James Park, similar to what happened this season in the group phase, and the second round happening in Camp Nou. That is where the factor is. Barcelona, every time they get to qualify out of the Champions League knockout phases, they get to play at home. And that is something that will help Barcelona. Look at Barcelona's track record of Champions League. They've got eliminated. Most of the time, they play the second leg at an away ground from Liverpool to AS Roma. They find it very difficult to grind results from away grounds. But this time, they have the luxury to play the second game at Camp Nou. And the first game would be at St. James Park. We know how hostile St. James Park sometimes gets in the Champions League games. But I'm looking at this game. Eddie Howe has a lot of things on his hand. Looking at the Newcastle team, they have the likes of Anthony Gordon, Harvey Barnes, leading score lines or leading in the top scorers. In the likes of, they are in the brackets of the likes of Harry Kane, they are in the brackets of the likes of Kylian Mbappe. That shows how dominant they've been in the attacking phase. Barcelona have been one team that find it very difficult to keep clean sheets against clubs. So we are going to look at the defensive work. Newcastle may be defensively solid a bit than Barcelona. So in St. James Park, we are going to see a lot of goals. But it's going to depend on how Newcastle would be able to play a good game at St. James Park, because in Camp Nou, surely Barcelona are going to concede. So how many goals Newcastle can get at St. James Park will boost their chances of beating Barcelona or qualifying ahead of Barcelona. But I'm tipping Newcastle to qualify ahead of Barcelona in this particular fixture, looking at how things are going to play out, looking at how things are going to be for a team like Newcastle playing a second league game at Camp Nou. How can they come closer to that pressure from the Spanish giants? We are going to look at that, but I'm tipping Newcastle to qualify ahead of Barcelona. In the next games, we are going to look at Sporting Lisbon against Bordeaux Glimt. And this particular game, we are looking at two clubs coming into the Champions League who have not had a chance to be at the top level when we are ranking top teams. But Sporting Lisbon has shown some great zeal, great strength in this season's Champions League, grinding some results that got them that top 8. Bordeaux Glimt, after struggling from the start, had that amazing run of games, beating Manchester City, beating Atletico Madrid, beating Inter Milan home and away. Now they are more rejuvenated coming into this game. And remember, their league season is over, so they are preparing purposely for the Champions League. So they have almost some weeks to prepare for Sporting Lisbon this game. The first game will be played at Bordeaux Glimt's home ground. We will know that they are very difficult to beat them there. And one thing, that is something that is going to favor them in this particular game. They need to get good results at their home grounds, where they've been scoring 3+ goals in every game they play in the Champions League. So if Bordeaux Glimt are able to get a good result against Sporting at home, they stand the chance to defeat Sporting Lisbon in Portugal, because Sporting Lisbon are also one side that are conceding a lot when it comes to the Champions League. So I'm tipping Bordeaux Glimt to win the first game, maybe draw the second league game in Portugal, and qualify ahead of Sporting Lisbon. The next game we are going to talk about is Atletico Madrid against Tottenham. Atletico, the last time they met was in a UEFA Winners' Cup, where Tottenham defeated Atletico Madrid by 5-1. But this game is a very different ball game altogether. Atletico Madrid are on top hot form going into this particular game. Tottenham are struggling to grind results after a good performance in the Champions League, getting a new coach in Igor Tudor. How can they come up with the pressure against Atletico? Igor Tudor is a very experienced manager, but we saw how he was defeated by Villarreal in Juventus against Villarreal last season. I'm not tipping Tottenham to get ahead of Atletico Madrid. The attacking phase of the Tottenham Hotspur's team wouldn't be able to stop the defense of, that is, Atletico Madrid. And Atletico have boosted the attack in the likes of Ademola Lookman, Antoine Griezmann, and also Julian Alvarez and Solot are on red hot form. So likely Atletico are going to qualify ahead of Tottenham Hotspur in this particular fixture. The last game in this round is going to be Arsenal against Bayern Leverkusen. Leverkusen have not been able to stand tall against some of the big teams in the Champions League, and Arsenal are going to get a chance to defeat Liverpool. This is the only fixture with the Bayern Munich fixture I can predict that this team is Arsenal are going to win home and away on this fixture and qualify comfortably ahead of, that is, Bayern Leverkusen in this fixture. Now from this, let's crown it up into the quarterfinals and predict which teams we are tipping to be in the final. Remember, this show is brought to you by MyBet.Africa, so please scan the QR code if you've not scanned. Get to register on MyBet.Africa. Get to sign up. The sign up process is very simple. I'm going to give you details on the odds they are giving on this Champions League game so that you can bet on them. After that, then we'll go into the round of, or the quarterfinal stages. So with the options on the odds on MyBet.Africa, Galatasaray against Liverpool, that is 1.79 for Liverpool, 4.13 for Galatasaray. Atlanta against Bayern Munich, 4.72 for Atlanta, 1.63 for Bayern Munich. Newcastle Barcelona, Newcastle is 2.68, Barcelona is 4.5. Atletico Tottenham, Atletico is 1.67, Tottenham is 4.96. Bayern Leverkusen against Arsenal, the odds is 5.24 and 1.63 for Arsenal. Real Madrid against Manchester City, Real Madrid is at 2.79, Manchester City is at 2.40. Bordeaux Glimt against Sporting, Bordeaux Glimt is at 2.61, Sporting is at 2.51. Paris Saint-Germain against Chelsea, Paris Saint-Germain is at 1.79 and Chelsea is at 4.15 in this particular order. So MyBet.Africa's odds are, they keep on improving, they keep on hitting that top tier target we are looking at. So as we are speaking now, register, go onto the platform after you are done with this video. The selections that I've made, click on the teams and you get a chance to win amazing with MyBet.Africa. So going into the quarterfinals, we are getting ahead of ourselves, but we want to just educate our viewers on what they should expect and also what we are looking at in that quarterfinal stage. So with the quarterfinal from the silver side, we are looking at the Chelsea Liverpool in the quarterfinals. We are looking at Manchester City against Bayern in the quarterfinals. Newcastle against Atletico Madrid, which is going to be a very difficult game. I'm tipping Atletico Madrid against Newcastle. Newcastle getting ahead of Atletico Madrid in this fixture. So we are going to see an Arsenal against Newcastle in the semi-finals. On the other hand, Chelsea-Liverpool is going to be a very difficult game. Chelsea have put up a good performance against a team in Liverpool in their recent games. And I'm looking at Chelsea going ahead of Liverpool if they can get to maintain that same form. Bayern Munich against Manchester City. Man City wouldn't be able to get hold of this Bayern Munich setup. Bayern Munich will qualify ahead of Manchester City. Bayern Munich Chelsea may be in the semi-finals as I am predicting. And I'm tipping Bayern Munich going ahead of Chelsea in that particular semi-final game. On the other hand, Arsenal against Newcastle. Likely you are going to see an Arsenal qualifier ahead of. That is Newcastle. And in the final, the teams that I'm predicting to make the top two in the final is going to be Bayern Munich against Arsenal. They met in the group phase, but Arsenal winning by 4 goals to 1. So let's see what will happen. That is my Champions League final predictions. Bayern Munich will play at home against Arsenal. One spoiler I'll give every Arsenal fan: in the last 10 years, no team has played as an away team that has won the Champions League. You can count down to that is Paris Saint-Germain against Inter Milan, Manchester City, Real Madrid against Dortmund, Manchester City, Chelsea. Most of the team that plays as the home team goes on to win the Champions League. So let's see what happens in the group phase in this fixtures. And also we are looking at Budapest for the final. But my final prediction, as I stated, is Bayern Munich against Arsenal in the Champions League final. So please like, share, and also comment. Let me know which teams you are tipping to get into the final, and also which teams you are predicting to qualify ahead of the other in the round of 16 teams. And if your predictions come, we have a reward for you. So as you predict, please place your mobile money number below and we'll get to reward you with some amazing cash when your predictions, 3 or 4 out of your predictions come true. Thank you. This is Tactics and Touchline Podcast. Like, share, and also subscribe to our channel so that the channel can grow and we can share amazing content like this with you.